In my search for God, I've encountered teachings, especially from mystical or New Age circles, that promote things like incense, crystals, and essential oils. They claim these tools help you see visions or raise your vibrational frequency so you can perceive the higher worlds, which they say is the highest states of ecstasy, love.
Okay. Okay.
So my question is, can physical substances actually help you, or do they in a way hinder your ability to transcend to the higher world? What are their purposes?
Okay. I think this question has to be looked at from um, a Christ perspective. Most of the time, when I handle some spiritual questions, I try to look at them from a Christ perspective. That means let us go to the Gospels. When you read the Bible, when he is talking about enlightenment, when Christ taught about enlightenment, he says that when the eye be single, the whole body shall be full of light. Now, when he says that when the eye be single, some people have looked at that as dealing with Kundalini and all those kind of, third eye activation and all that. But what he's talking about is that when the eye is single, the word single actually deals with when the eye becomes one. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is what?
One,
Is one. Yeah. So if he says that if the eye be one, what does it mean?
unity,
Divine.
divine.
So when the I is divine, then the whole being will also be divine. So spirituality then has to deal with the alchemization of the I. Okay, and that transcends psychosomatic manipulations of the mind or the body. So these substances, to some extent, we would say that they are trying to help you achieve enlightenment by manipulating the body. Okay, so it's like trying to say that I'm going to go to heaven using an aeroplane. It's not possible.
I see, I see.
Yeah, so what you are trying to assess is spiritual. So because of that, it takes only spiritual tools to awaken yourself to those realities.
I see.
So in the parable of the soul, we find the same thing there. It says that the parable of I think the mustard seed, where the mustard seed grows to become the great tree. It says that the kingdom of God is like a mustard seed which a man took and then he put in a garden. He put on the ground. Sorry. So this garden is dealing with the heart. He said, and this mustard seed grows to become a great tree which could nest
Yeah.
the birds, which means it's yeah. So the heart is the ground. So the growing to touch the angels is dealing with how consciousness can be developed, or quote unquote frequency can be raised to touch the spiritual
Higher
realities.
worlds.
Yes, to touch the higher, because that's where the angels are. So the question we ask ourselves with is, how did this heart how was this heart made possible to touch the higher worlds? It was a mustard seed. Now, what was the mustard seed? In the problem, so we understand that the mustard seed is what? Is the word of God. So it means that when we are talking about the raising of consciousness to touch the higher worlds in terms of frequency and all that, we are not dealing with psychosomatic substances which only manipulate the externality of consciousness. We are dealing with things that can assess the human heart. So here we are dealing with Chokhmah, wisdom, or Theosophia, divine wisdom. So when we talk about raising the consciousness, and when we talk about that, we are not dealing with raising physical consciousness. We are talking about raising spiritual consciousness. So that has to do with love vibration. And love, the source of love, is the wisdom of God. So that's why the Bible would say that the whole wisdom of God is concluded in one thing, which is what? Love. So it is impossible to kind of say you are raising frequency to be able to become spiritual by using psychosomatic substances. That means substances that manipulate the body to manipulate the psyche. And what all these substances they do is that they are actually magnifying or amplifying imagination, memory, and desire.
Which psychic entities can use to manipulate you?
Yep, yeah, because they live in those dimensions. So basically, they can also try to hack that world to give you false images of the divine. So it doesn't guarantee that by doing that you would be able to have enlightenment, but it only guarantees that you would have imaginative encounters. But imaginative encounters themselves is not enlightenment or spirituality. because spirituality deals with the transformation of the will to a point of love. So that's why Paul said, even though I have um, prophecy, I give my whole body to be burned, even though I have the gift of prophecy and I understand all mysteries and yet have no love. Yet, but when he was talking to the Corinthian church, he says that um, I show you the more excellent way. And the excellent way was what?
Love.
Love. So it means that transformation of consciousness is taking place at the point of love, not psychosomatic substances to raise the frequencies, which only can give you revelations, but not transformation.
I see.
So they are not necessarily looked at as principles or tools of spirituality. They get it. But what people also don't know is that these things can only work your memory so that you can remember what you are seeing in the spirit, but they are not giving you the experience themselves.
I see. So the goal is not really what you see, the vision and maybe
No.
seeing angels and oh, the angel came, the angel moved in a room. That's not the goal. The goal is the transformation of the will, like you're saying.
Yes, and that's why, and every being that encounters you has an aim within those line of thinking. So maybe you don't have that thought that you are going to encounter them for transformation, but every being that encounters you, it's trying to make you into their own image.
I see.
So if you encounter a divine being, their image is a divine, and that's what they try to make you into. If you encounter a Luciferic being, their image is a Luciferic principle, and that's what they are trying to make you into. If you encounter a demon, their aim is a demonic principle, and that's what they are trying to transform you into. So basically, you might think you are not pursuing them for transformation, but once you are interacting with them, they are transforming you to become something. So that's how we have found that where black magic became very rampant because people were relying on hallucinogenics, and psychotic substances. You realize that there was much of the exaltation of the passions and then the ego and all those
And
things.
even I came across certain mystics that claim that in order, when you mention passions, in order to overcome these passions, which before they had already heightened them through these psychosomatic activities they performed, the mystic claimed that in order to overcome these passions, you'd have to go to the extremity of these passions. So if maybe I'm addicted to popping pills or taking drugs, I would have to pop pills to the end of popping pills. As in, I would have to pop till I can't pop anymore. And that's the way to overcome these passions.
Yeah,
What do you think about that method?
well, that might be a perspective of someone who probably maybe who gives an advice to people who, on a general note, have issues with the passions. But I think for him, he is looking at it from the perspective that human beings at their core are very selfish. So when they do something, they realize how much it is hurting the ego because they want to protect the ego. So how much is hurting the ego, then they will stop. So basically, every addictive behavior is such that when you do it intensely to try to kill you. So when a human being does that, then he realizes how much that thing is trying to destroy them. Using that fear, they will be able to what? Stop it. Yes. But it's not a very good route because addiction is such that the human being will lose his will. So the will to even stop it will not be present to do that. So I don't think it's a good thing.
Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense. Because if you've lost your will, another being can override,
Yeah.
give you a different will.
Yeah, and addiction has to do with the demons and these lower beings who try to,
Hijack.
overshadow you so that they can make you live in a repeated loop and then they can live out
Yeah,
their life or existence through you.
interesting. Interesting.
Yeah.
That's a very interesting perspective. So, what do Christians really? How do Christians see um, this whole vision and going into the spirit? Is it about? It's not about seeing forms or seeing angels or seeing God, but about transformation, as you said. So, in a Christian context, how does transformation come about? What's the practical way one can be transformed to look like God?
I think we start with the word.
The word.
Yes, like the Lord Jesus said, say you are clean through the words that I have spoken unto you. So transformation first begins with the word. And when we say the word, what is the word talking about? The word is that word talking about what? God. So in order to be transformed, you have to be looking to the image of that you want to be transformed into. So in this case, we are looking at what being transformed into what?
God.
God. So you have to keep looking at God.
I see.
Okay. And that is also not still enough. So this understanding and knowing God is coupled with prayer. And prayer also deals with the yielding of the will to God. So as you are knowing Him, you are yielding your will in prayer to Him. And that is the basis of transformation. So the basis of transformation then deals with understanding who God is and then interacting with Him such that you lose what you are.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's where prayer is. Interacting with Him so that you lose what you are. That's prayer.
So with the mode of prayer, do you, when you say you lose what you are, what are you really losing?
You lose your perspective. When you say yourself, it's definitely dealing with how you want to live life.
Yeah, but my question is, what do you actually lose? Who, which personality do you have outside of God that does not fight God, as in the ego?
Yeah, you are. So basically, you are losing the ego.
So that's the only thing you are losing.
Yeah, you are losing the ego.
Oh, okay.
Or do you think you would be losing something else?
Okay, so before ego and before maybe the fall of man and everything, what was the personality of man?
When you talk about, I mean, man was made in such a way that he was without um, he was without ego. He had the will to choose between that which was wrong and good. But at that point in time, there was not the crystallization of ego because he had not acted to form those personality within himself. Yeah.
Okay, I see. So, talking about transformation and the will and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
in the Hindu tradition,
Mm-hmm.
they believe that there are various gods. They pray to various gods like
Yeah.
Shiva and Brahma and those things. So,
Mm-hmm.
what's the idea behind that in transformation? How is it that praying to a god or appeasing a certain god through maybe food or dance can also lead to ecstatic states of
Yeah,
transformation?
okay, I think you are assuming that we are thinking what they are doing is transforming them.
Okay, so it's not from a place of assumption, it's from the little research that I have done
Okay,
because they
so
also seek enlightenment.
yep. So
So what they are doing, how does it transform them?
that's what I'm saying, that if we say that, it means we are assuming what they are doing is transforming them. Then we ask our question that how is it transforming them? So the question is it even transforming them before we can even
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
you get where I'm coming from?
I do now, I
Yes,
do.
yes, yes.
Huh. So what do you think about their tradition?
The what
The Hindu tradition
what
and
tribe? Because they have
the
quite
pantheon of gods.
the
The pantheon of gods that they have,
so
like
the,
Shiva,
so
Brahma.
well when you look at the Hindu tradition, what you find is that it started with the I think the Brahmins. The Brahmins are more like the priests. You know, they are priests. I'm not so either Brahmin or Brahman. I'm not so sure about that. So, the Brahmins are the priests of the Hindu tradition, and the Hindu tradition, just like all ancient cultures, they do not document.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
they do not document. So, what that means is that they don't write down their tradition. What it's based on oral tradition. And even Judaism or Hebrewism, or like the Hebrew tradition itself, or what we call the Abrahamic tradition to some extent, is
Yeah,
an oral tradition.
yeah.
Okay, so as an oral tradition, when human beings begin to corrupt in their morals and principles, they reinterpret the ideas of that religion. So I think I read somewhere that some people proposed that the various pantheon of gods were created because the Brahmins wanted to make money from selling those gods.
Really?
Yep. So in that sense, they were not to be looked at as deities, but they created them to make money. Because in Hinduism, in the Hindu and the philosophy of existence, there is that one thing they call the absolute. I've forgotten. I think it could be either Shankara or one of these Hindu scholars. He argued what is called the more orthodox form of Hinduism, which accepts the absolute existence of God and not the gods of Hinduism.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
So there's a
yes.
more transcendent God
A more transcendent God
beyond the
than the pantheon of all the
gods.
gods. Because even in the Hindu tradition, they understand that the devas are powers that can help you. more like what you understand to be angels.
Angels, yeah.
Yes. So that's why the whole understanding is that these Brahmins created the idea of deity worship so that they can create idols and make money. So
Oh,
that corrupted the whole tradition of the Hindus.
yeah,
And that's where Buddhism comes to correct all those things.
yeah.
Yes, by
I see.
bringing in its own form of spirituality for liberation, and comes with it the meditative, that you don't need a priest, you don't need a this, just by going into inner transformation and seeking what they call, I think, the eight noble paths of Buddhism.
Yeah,
Yeah, you can really reach break the wheel of reincarnation and reach enlightenment. So it came Buddhism came as a reaction to a
the
break in the
Hinduism.
right interpretation of the Hindu religion.
Oh,
And
okay.
to some extent, the prophets of Judaism also erupt anytime the Jewish people were going into the worshipping of idols.
I see.
So they also come in. So to some extent, we can say, just like in Judaism, they were more like Buddha was more like a prophet
Yeah,
who was trying to correct. But as to whether he was able to propose an absolute path that could really, transform consciousness to touch God, that's also another conversation, because we can't really know.
that's fine. Concerning the Jews,
Yeah,
Judaism, and their practice.
yeah.
So I came across Kabbalah.
Okay.
So there's Kabbalah with a K, and
Mm-hmm.
then Kabbalah with a Q.
Mm-hmm.
I realized that most people confuse these forms of practices
Mm-hmm.
that they claim is the same.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what I do know is that Kabbalah with a Q has to do with magic,
Not really. It has to do with Hermetic Kabbalah.
Hermetic Kabbalah.
Yes, that's Hermetic Kabbalah. Mhm.
So with Kabbalah,
At times they call the Kabbalah of the Freemasons.
yeah, I think I've heard that one too.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So with Kabbalah,
Mm-hmm.
Kabbalah with a K,
Yeah,
let's stay
yeah.
on that one for now.
Mm-hmm.
What's the use of Kabbalah with a K? Because what I do understand and know is Kabbalah is a reception of light.
Yeah, yeah,
Good. So the one who received the first light was Adam, our father.
yeah, yeah,
So in a way, Adam was the first Kabbalist.
yeah, yeah. That's how they explain.
Good. So does it have anything to do with the transformation of the will, as you mentioned in Christianity,
Mm-hmm.
towards union with the
Mm-hmm.
divine?
Mm-hmm.
And the parallel, is there any parallel between the reception of light and
Mm-hmm.
union with light?
It's the same thing.
Oh, I see.
The reception is the transformation. So that's why in Kabbalah they talk about the emanations, the Sephiroth.
Yeah, the Sephiroth.
Yeah, so when we're dealing with the Sephiroth, they have something they call the Keter, which is where
Oh,
that's the fermentation, the crystallization of God. That's the Keter. And
yeah.
then there is also the Malkut, which is the crystallization of will. So literally what is happening here is, if Keter is God and then Malkut is will,
Well,
so we are dealing with what? The union of the will
and
with
God.
God.
I see.
You get to the other one is God, the other one is Malkut kingdom, which is Adam, which deals with the consciousness of the divine within man. You see,
Yeah.
so when we look at it from that perspective, it follows that it satisfies all the criteria,
Christian.
the
Yeah.
criteria of mystical theology.
I see.
So when I say mystical, it means the its end is union with God.
Union.
Yeah, so it has to do with So Kabbalah is the science of inner transformation, how that the human will can be transformed to become a conduit of the divine. You see, when you look at the prayer of Jesus Christ, thy will be done on earth
Us
as it is
in
in
heaven.
heaven. Okay, when we talk about heaven, the heaven is the place of light, luminary. So heaven is dealing with the place of knowledge. So heaven is dealing with a vessel that has a perfect reception of light. So that's the divine beings. So God's will in a perfect soul should be as that which is on earth. On earth, raton, which is the human will. So it means the divine will, which is Christ himself, should reflect in the human will, which is the anthropos.
Oh, okay. I see.
Yes. So Christ in heaven has to be
Reflected.
reflected in the Christ on earth, which is the body.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's interesting.
Yes.
I've
Because so
never really seen it that way.
when Christ's will is manifested within the human will, then that is perfection.
Oh,
Yeah, that is perfection. That is what's called the kingdom come.
Interesting. So it's not really physical kingdom descending. That's what we're taught in Sunday school, that God's kingdom is going to descend upon this planet, and He's going to rule, and He's going to be a king for 1,000 years. We'll rule with Him. We'll also be kings. We'll have
The whole book of Revelation started by saying, this is the book of the revelation, this is the revelation of Jesus Christ, which God gave to his servant John, and he sent it and signified it. The word signified means symbolized.
symbolized. So it's
So it
all about
is a
symbolism.
symbol. So if you don't know what he's talking about, you can never know what he really mean by that symbol.
I see.
So when he say dragon, don't think he's talking about some dragon be somewhere. No, no,
Some
no.
mythical creature.
No, no, no. He's dealing with an actual principle. It doesn't also mean those realities are not real.
Exactly.
So we have earth symbolisms, then we have heavenly symbolisms.
Concerning that, saying those realities are not real, the church fathers say that it's not right to view that the literal interpretation of the Bible is wrong.
Yeah,
The
so that's why I
literal
said,
thing actually happened.
so that's the historical. So we don't
Yes.
go into what I call over allegorization.
Yes.
We don't
Yes.
allegorize beyond the history and say the history is wrong. No, the history is right.
So the history serves as a
Actually, if the
boundary.
history is not right, the allegory too is not going to be true.
Exactly.
Because in the allegory of the mustard seed, actually in real life, mustard seed are bigger than all the other trees when they grow up. So if it is not true, then the principle is trying to illustrate can also not be real.
Exactly.
Yes, yes. So it's a build up.
I see. I
It's a
see.
build up. It's a build.
Oh, interesting. So now with a Kabbalah with a Q, and I see weird drawings. Sometimes a man is opening up and they show a man, and they, I don't know, I can't figure them out. What are they trying to achieve? The Kabbalah of the Freemasons, what are they trying to achieve?
Well, for them, it's a magical pursuit which they have confused to be the end of mysticism, because most of these societies are interested in the controlling of other human beings.
Energies.
Yes, the real control is not the controlling of another human being, it's the controlling of your own self.
Wow.
Yes. So the highest form of magic is a transmutation of your own will. So that's where, yeah, so when we look at, so the highest form of magic then also end up in it being mysticism, which is the transformation of the self. So if it's the highest form of magic, it can be toned down to become a lower form, which is dealing with the manipulation of external realities. So
Yeah.
that's why Kabbalah can be developed into magic,
Oh,
because it's a
okay.
higher form of magic, which is dealing with the transformation of the will. So now it can be brought lower and then can be used to manipulate other realities of existence. So that is Chokhmah, higher wisdom. When higher wisdom is used wrongly, it can destroy. So even Kabbalistic wisdom is not taught openly, and it's also not taught to everyone.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so when these are what I call disciples of the East, that means people who try to go into the East to kind of glean from their wisdom, and so they have untransformed and egoistic impulses within them, and they understand a little truth. They then use it to develop their own intentions. So that's why we have the Kabbalah of the Cube, which is the foundation of Western esotericism and magic.
Blavatsky and those people.
No, Blavatsky doesn't even touch that. When we talk about, we're dealing with the Order of the Golden Dawn.
Oh, yeah, I think I came across once
Yeah,
when
so
I
the
was searching
Rosicrucians, the Order of the Golden Dawn,
Rosicrucians.
yes, and
So when I
then
was
the
searching,
Freemasons and the Illuminati, all these people, they erupt from that.
yeah, when I was searching for God, in my early stages, I'm not claiming to have found God, but now I found a better approach.
Okay.
Yeah, so I came across the Order of the Golden Dawn
Mm-hmm.
and had a certain affinity for them. I don't know why, but
Mm-hmm.
I could, in a way, try to sympathize with their teachings, as in the whole magic
Mm-hmm.
transmutation.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's the influence I had from watching too many movies and cartoons, So like when I see those things, I'll be like, oh, this is real,
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't find those things in Christianity.
Okay.
The Christianity
You
I
didn't find
knew.
those things in the Christianity being practiced now.
Exactly. So I was like, how is it that these people claim they are sons of God
Mm-hmm.
and they have Christ, they are one with Christ? All the claims Paul was making in the scriptures.
Mm-hmm.
How is that? I see none of those things being played out. And it's like God is quiet and somehow powerless and doesn't know what to do. But these orders, these Rosicrucians,
Mm-hmm.
they move things, they do extraordinary things,
Mm-hmm.
and I was wondering,
Mm-hmm.
like, where does that fit? Is it that Christians or believers don't have the the knowledge or the wisdom to go into their own inheritance? What is it?
The Bible says that, I think it says that in him I hid all the treasures of wisdom and knowledge, and ye are complete in him. So perfection can only be achieved when we are in him,
Yeah,
not just in him, in the treasures of his wisdom. Okay, when you say the treasures of his wisdom, it means like the treasures could be looked at as a treasure map,
yeah,
which is helping you to find certain treasures.
yeah,
So when we say the treasures of wisdom, it means the wisdom itself can guide you to interact with certain realities that God had made for you.
yeah,
So there are things that God has made. And when we say the things that God has made, in people's mind, they think it is heaven, mansions. No, no, no. He's dealing with
yeah,
the angels
yeah.
and certain angelic beings that God purposely made for his children so that they can use as for the demonstration of his power.
Wow,
Yes, and if you look at it that way, it means these wisdom actually are dealing with how to work with the angelic beings.
I see.
Okay, because this wisdom is going to make you access the treasures of God.
Yeah,
So it's just wisdom on how to work with the angelic beings, how the human will could be developed so that it can access certain realities of
in the
existence.
angelic world,
Yes, the angelic one, even transcending that into the divine world, that which is
divine
in God
world.
Himself.
Wow,
So the whole thing is, why is the church this way? They are children.
ignorant.
They are children.
Their children.
Yes.
And I think one time you said to me that maturity happens when there's truth.
Yeah, 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 when there's
So
truth.
is it that the church doesn't have truth because they've not dug deep?
Well, the Bible says that you have to search, look, buy the truth, and then sell it not. So truth is not something you chance upon; it's something you search. And you fully find it when you search.
I
You see,
see.
the church right now is taking what they are being given, and assuming that
That is
if it is
truth.
not God, then how come that
It's working.
everyone is listening to it and it's trending everywhere?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, for example, some people go to YouTube and then they want to learn maybe something in Christianity. They look at the man of God with a lot of views, and they think it means that he is right.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't mean like that. So truth is something you look for. Actually, there are things that will really help people if we tell them this is what is going to really help people. They will tell you, no, 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 this thing can't help me. But actually, they are the ones that will help you. So I think there's a lot of ego there, that a lot of people are pursuing God that looks like them without realizing that the God that looks like them can never change them.
Exactly. And the Lord Jesus Christ once said that do not give pearls to swine.
Yeah, so the swine is dealing with
People
someone who
engrossed in their own pleasures.
their own way of life and then their own.
I see. I
Yeah.
see.
So when we talk about the Kabbalah, like you were trying to, Kabbalah is more like a Jewish wisdom, and it's all based on who is teaching you and the tradition that he's using to explain to you. And the thing is, you must cover it to take you like 10 years and probably you have not figured out, because it's just intense symbolisms. Do you get it? So a lot of people are using the fear of Hermetic Kabbalah to conclude that Kabbalah is wrong.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but
Because
they
that's
don't
what I came
really
across
know,
first.
because the real Kabbalah, you won't find it being taught openly like that.
Because I didn't come across the real
Yeah,
Kabbalah.
you won't come
I only
along.
came across the Hermetic Kabbalah.
Yes, it's free. There are many books you can go and read. But you will see you want to learn wisdom. Okay, then they are giving it to you. So if in your imagination that is what you consider to wisdom, you bet they've given it to you. But if you are someone, you still realize that no, that's not what you are looking for. You are not trying to manipulate anything. You just want to become a better human being. You still have questions. So that means that's not the real Kabbalah. So at times when the devil can't really, prevent you from your pursuit, it's rather present you something that look like what you are looking for. And God allows it to kind of test your heart. If that is really what you are looking for, you just stop there and you'll be in deception.
Wow.
So that's what the Bible says, because they do not like to retain God in their understanding. God
Give them over.
over to a reprobate mind. He sends them a strong delusion.
Wow.
Yes. So at times, the mystical thing, it's not like because you don't understand. At times I meet people and they're like, why are you teaching all these strange things? Then they say they think they have questions. And they think that because they don't understand, if they ask me, I should tell them because they don't understand. No, no, no. You don't
Yeah.
hear this thing because you don't understand. You hear these things because you are willing to really contend to love God when you know them. That's what the Bible have. They didn't say the things God has prepared for them who want to know Him,
No, them that love
them
him.
that love Him. So mysteries only appear to those that love Him. Because if you don't love, if you hear it cry, you would not want to. There are times that I have explained some things about God to people, and they kind of vanish from my life because they realize the sacrifice. They don't want to, and then they go back to the normal thing. So I realized over the years that like I thought maybe if I get a mystery and then I'm teaching the mystery, I'm teaching people the real thing, they will like it. But I realized that people don't like it. So I don't know whether I made the wrong choice.
No, you didn't make the wrong choice.
No, I'm just joking around that whether I made the wrong choice to kind of build something for the Lord.
Yeah,
Because now I'm looking for the real thing to help people. Now I got the real thing. Now the people don't want it. So
exactly.
what should I do now?
I think in their hearts are
Yeah,
not
so
pure.
that's what I'm trying to say, that we shouldn't assume like because someone doesn't understand, when you sit them down, and the reason why they are not pursuing it is because they don't understand. So when you come along and you explain, they understand, they will follow it. No, 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 no. It's not everyone who will follow because they understand. That's why I say some people are not willing to pay the price for the truth.
Yeah.
They are not willing to pay the price for the truth.
Wow.
Mm.
So still on Kabbalah, right?
Mm-hmm.
Kabbalah with a key,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
correct Kabbalah.
yeah.
They normally talk about the reincarnation of souls.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's why I say that I don't think I want us to go into the theology they teach because it's still filled with symbolisms that
Oh, okay.
that's why they take their time
Yeah.
to establish.
I was thinking if there was any parallel with it with the resurrection, which is in Christian doctrine.
No, no, no. Don't try
Oh,
to. They have a whole system for explaining what is going on
I see.
there. And they might use the word reincarnation. It doesn't mean they are talking about the reincarnation.
Exactly. And even I don't the
So you can't be assuming
context.
based on the words they are using because Kabbalah is dealing with forces. And at times they will tell you they are trying to even describe them, but they can't. For example, someone can pick a Kabbalistic book about angels, and all of a sudden they think they understand angels because they read a Kabbalistic book.
Yeah.
No, you need someone to explain to you what is really going on. Because just because they wrote angels, they are like it doesn't mean you understand what is really going on. You
Yeah.
need someone to really, and at times it will take you time to really understand what is really going on, even though they have taught it to you. It's all that's why I say it's all about the reception of light.
Yeah.
Yes, when the vessel is broken, the light can then come into them. Do you get it? And in the Bible, we can find people who went into this Kabbalistic mysticism. Like, for example, Apostle John said, God is light. That is Kabbalistic.
Yeah, that's Kabbalah. Pure
Yeah,
Kabbalah.
pure Kabbalah. And Paul also talk about, say that ye are light. And they also talk about how that he saw a great light.
Even the Lord said that we are the light of
Yeah,
this
we are
world.
the light of the. So the Lord Himself, even the what I just said, when the will is divine, then the whole body will become. When you say the whole body, it means your whole life will be
Wow.
filled with light. Yes, that means God would be,
It will
God
permeate through
will
your
permeate through
entire
your
being.
whole life, not body in the sense of body. I mean your life.
Yeah, life.
Yes, you mean
Being.
dealing with your realities, the way you live your life on earth.
Wow. That's a wonderful state to be in.
Yeah, yeah, of course. Yeah,
Imagine just God living through you,
yeah,
through and through.
yeah.
There's no blockage,
Mm-hmm.
no hindrance for
Yeah.
Him to express Himself within
Mm-hmm.
you.
Yeah.
Wow. So, concerning all these practices, all these religions,
Mm-hmm.
everyone is seeking enlightenment. Everyone is saying, oh, I can do magic, I can do this, I can do that. You
Mm-hmm.
know, what is the aim of all these things? What's the aim of spirituality? What's the end of it? What are we actually looking for?
So the true purpose of spirituality is God. Okay. And we can understand that when God tells man that, for example, recently I was just studying the Bible and I saw the Lord Jesus say that man was made for the Sabbath. and not the Sabbath for man. The word Sabbath means rest, which means man was made, Sabbath was made for man, not man for the Sabbath. So rest was made for man. So the idea, the concepts, and the essence of spirituality is that it was made for man. But why is it that rest was made for man? Because man, to some extent, trivialized his existence when he decided to move away from God. So then God had already prepared a rest for him. So rest is there to correct man, not to enslave him. So the purpose of spirituality is that spirituality is there to make man free.
Yeah.
When we say man is free, what does it also mean? The Lord Jesus said, he who sin is a slave of sin. So man is not free because he is in disobedience or in dissonance with God, because he was made as an object for God to live through. So when he lived through his own self, he's a slave. When something else also lived through him, he's also a slave. So this rest is where God finds himself. The Bible saying God rested. The word rested means God inhabited the Sabbath day. Yes, the Sabbath day. So when man becomes a Sabbath or enters into the Sabbath, God rests within him. And that is where he is free. So that's where we have union.
With
So
God.
spirituality is made so that man would teshuva, return. Because from 7, you move to what? 1. So 7 is there to return. Shabbat can also be rearranged as teshuv. You see, ta, ba. So teshuv. So
Yeah.
the word 7 can also mean to return. So the whole essence of spirituality is to return the soul to the point of beginning, the
Which,
arche, which is God himself, which is Christ himself. So when we talk about spirituality, we are dealing with anything that can raise you, ascension, that
I
can
see.
raise you into union with God.
So that was the Western theologian Meister
Mhm.
Eckhart terms the ground.
No. The ground is the point within you that, okay, we can, the ground where God inhabits.
So
Yeah.
that's where God inhabits. God inhabits the ground of your being.
Yeah, the highest points which he made for himself. So
Okay.
spirituality is to experience that, because that is where God can communicate with you and he's one with you. It's more like the garden. But it's a
Oh,
garden which transcends that garden, because there's no devil there which can be whispering to you and all that. Because it's a
yeah.
place of rest.
I see.
Yes.
So, concerning this path, this road we are on to experience union with God,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes there are things that hinder us,
Yeah.
maybe addictions, and maybe,
Mm-hmm.
um, in the Catholic Church, they are called the vices.
Vices, the
Yeah.
passions.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think in the Orthodox Church, they are called the passion.
Call them passions, yeah.
In the Catholic, they are called the vices or the deadly sins.
Deadly sins, yeah.
So these things, which modern Protestant churches have termed the edges.
Edges, okay.
So what's really are they, and how do they function? And also, how does one transcend these edges, these negative inclinations?
The church fathers call them the passion because they represent, it's a suffering.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's a suffering. When um when you are in a room and it's very hot, what do you want to do?
Turn on the fan.
You turn on the what if there is no fan?
You fan yourself.
What if you don't have anything to fan yourself and there's a door there?
You leave the room.
You leave the room. So this act of leaving the room is how sin is.
Wow.
So when people are sinning, it means they are suffering and they are trying to get a rest. So it's still, but this rest, they are trying to get it in their own way, in their ignorance. So it ends up at sin. Right. So
Yeah.
we are trying to say that when we talk about sin, it's just a human being in his own way trying to find rest.
Yeah.
But we have already concluded that God is that what?
Rest.
Rest. And that is where we have love. So when there is no love in the human being, that's when we have sin. So when there is no love in the human being, that's where sin then become a necessary thing to have some sort of something that mimic resting. Okay.
Yeah.
So when there is no love means when there is no knowledge of God.
I see.
So the passion are seen as when the soul is not in the knowledge of God. when the will is not united with love and it's not in love. So they are the imperfections of the soul. So how it is looked at is that they are the imperfections of the soul. And the only way to correct the soul from that is that the soul should learn or develop systems to experience or to live in the recollection of the love of God.
I see.
Yes. So it's a symptom. It's a symptom.
So it's more like a disease
It's a disease, a
souls are
symptom.
suffering from.
Yes, souls are suffering from. So we are saying that this thing, you need a medicine. The medicine is love. So any system that tries to bring in the assurance of knowledge and love will correct the passions. Yes.
Because and
When you love God, you can't sin against him.
when you love God, you can't sin against him. That's true.
Yeah. So imagine if you love something, you are hating it, and you keep saying that
That's
you
not
love
really
it.
love.
You don't really love it. So anytime we are looking at sin, we are looking at the imperfection of love.
Wow.
So it's not a problem of the sin, it's a problem of what is not there. You see, a disease is a deficiency.
Yeah.
Yes. So anytime someone is saying it's not, you shouldn't look at it like you should have done this. No, there's a deficiency which led to that. So that deficiency has to be solved.
I see.
Yes, and that deficiency is the issue of love. Even if the person tries to find something to solve it and it's not love, it won't last. The person will recall to the same lifestyle.
Yeah. So is that where
So that's how come the Bible, the gospel is a very strong power for deliverance from the passion. And we look at the mercy of God. We contemplate Christ's forgiveness, Christ's love, because that is the power unto salvation.
yeah.
Judgment will never bring you into salvation. It is the power of that love, how God forgives you. It is because the issue of sin is the love. Why did Adam sin against God? Because to some extent, the devil convinced him that God doesn't really love and he
Love
has kept
him like
something good for himself away from
exactly.
him. So that is where sin came about. So you could see that it is this whole misrepresentation which brings in the idea of no love for God. That so to solve sin, we need the revelation of the work of Christ. We need to see that Christ really and truly forgive us and experience this love. And that's the power unto salvation.
That would solve that deficiency
That
that we have.
deficiency. So it means that you should continually recollect the love of God.
I see.
Yes. Yes.
Wow. I never really viewed it from this angle, but this is a very it's a very great
Yeah,
perspective.
you have to.
Bring to
So
the
when
remembrance
someone has
love of
issues,
God.
don't say stop this, stop that, stop. No, no, no. Bring them close. Explain to him how Christ loves them. Because Christ didn't love them when they were without sin. He loved them when they are with sin. So now that they are without sin, do you think he will hate them because they are sinning? No.
No, it's not like
Yes.
that.
So that's why the Bible says, shall we continue in sin that grace may abound? Because grace truly abound when you sin. But the power of it is said that the reason why you are sinning is because there is no love. So if you are a Christian and you are sinning, it means still you have not come into the knowledge of the love of Christ. Because if you truly love him, you can't offend him. It's not possible. Because when we talk about truly loving him, it means accepting the reality of his presence. You see, when the Lord came, when the Lord walked into the garden after Adam had sinned, what did Adam do?
Adam hid.
But is it possible to hide?
Oh,
So
no.
it means that Adam has lost the knowledge of the presence of God after doing that. Because you can't hide. So what was he hiding from? He was using a tree to hide. That's what he was doing. It's not possible. But to some extent, he thought it was possible. That means he has lost a certain knowledge of God. So you see, so this loss of this knowledge means he no longer carries love to that point. Because the soul the soul itself that is trying to offend God itself is enraptured in God. There's no way the soul can hide from God. See, where can you go from my presence? The soul itself is in God. So there's no way you say you can hide and sin. It's not possible. So the more you grow in that knowledge, the more you realize that you will cease to sin. But the most important thing is surrender to the love of the cross, because it is where your soul will have its rest.
I see.
Yeah. So anytime maybe you have a thought to do something, it will take a while though, because you can't assumingly, come. But you should maybe remember to um, surrender yourself to the love of the cross, because that's the only place you would have rest. When you sin thinking that it will give you rest, it will not give you the rest. Actually, it will take from you. The rest, the little rest you have, the sin will take
Yeah.
from you. So it's the sin only bringing the illusion that it will give you rest, but it can't. So it keeps using the illusion to keep you going in a loop like that, all
I
because you
see.
have not embraced the reality of love.
That's why people think maybe doing popping pills, doing drugs, smoking,
It's an illusion.
sleeping around will give
Yes.
you some rest. And even there are some very unnecessary theories that have come. When you do drugs, you feel relaxed, you're sober,
Mhm.
all the stress leaves.
Yeah.
When you have sex with just anyone,
Mm-hmm.
the stress leaves and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But I've come to know that it actually creates more bondage.
Yes, because Solomon, like we say, Shlomo.
Yeah.
Shlomo means he's the wisest man who was given the wisdom of God to contemplate life. And Solomon said, all things is vanity. Hevel. Now, the word Hevel is funny. It simply means empty of what it is. So let's say it's a car, right? It
Yeah.
looks like a car, but it is not a car. So when you look at it, say, can you help me drive? Can you help me move from this point to another? It only looks like, and it's trying to promise you that it can do it, but actually it can't. So
Yeah.
that is how this world is. So let's say you take a drug, you think it will give you, a kind of an ecstasy and everything. It only looks like it can, but then it can't.
Yeah.
So for example, people, maybe someone becomes thirsty and you think he can. See, it's funny when we say quench the thirst, because you don't really quench it. You only
You only
postpone.
suppress
You
it.
only postpone the
Yeah.
test.
Yeah.
So that means that water cannot really quench your thirst. So we don't have anything here which can really do what it says that it's going to do. So that is
Yeah.
the meaning of Hevel. This world is empty.
So they are more like the solutions we have here are like patches.
So it can't really say it's a solution. So that's why he came and realized that no, there's nothing here that can really satisfy him. And God did it like that so that man will not find rest in the creation. Because imagine you drink water and you're okay, you don't need water again. You will begin to falsify your thought that that thing is God, because you have found rest with that. So
Yeah.
God did that so that you will not find rest in any of those things. So that you can now step in and then break the illusion and tell he is the source of that. You see, so the nature of this universe is that it is Hevel. It cannot promise, it cannot give you what it promises, or it is empty of that which it says it can do.
Yeah.
Yes, and God made it like that. So that's what the Bible says. For the creation was made subject to bondage or to corruption. Yes, willingly for a purpose, to teach man not to, confuse that with divinity.
I
So
see.
what we people have to realize is that there's nothing that this stuff is trying to give them that it can. The only solution, like I say, you should surrender to the love of the cross, because that is the only way you can find the rest you are looking for.
Wow. I see. I see. That's a very, nice way to see it. But is it in any way linked to morality?
No,
Okay. So
no.
how does what's uh the relation between morality and surrendering to the cross?
The 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 dilemma of human existence is sin, but the reality of Christ's existence transcends sin.
Mm.
You see, so
Yeah.
that's why the Bible says that the cross of Christ gives us much more. So what it promises is not the contrary power of sin. It is a transcending power of sin.
Yeah.
I don't know if you get it.
Yeah. So
So
it's
it's
not
not
like an
like you lost
opposite
-2 and then Christ gives you +2.
plus two
No,
again.
no,
Yeah.
no, 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 no. He only used that to give you something way beyond the ideas and conceptualization of sin. So the holiness of God transcends the sin of man. Hence, the power of love is stronger than the sin of man.
Oh, okay.
Do you get it?
Yeah.
The holiness of God transcends the power of sin or the sin of man. So the love of God also transcends the sin or the power of sin.
Right. So, still on the
That
whole,
means you begin to experience the love of God such that it reaches certain point that there's no reference for sin.
So concerning the whole passions
Mm-hmm.
and addictions and stuff, in Buddhism they teach you to let go,
Yeah, yeah.
detach from
Detach,
things,
yeah.
and uh, more like a separation
Mm-hmm.
from things like that. Is there any Christian or Christological idea within that?
Not really, because in Christianity, we are not just teaching detachment
Mm-hmm.
in the essence of detachment. We are teaching detachment because of the acceptance of truth.
See,
You are not just detaching. And even them, they are also not just teaching detachment, they are teaching detachment with
to attach
respect
to,
to a certain
yeah,
reality.
yeah.
So now the question, what is the reality which is the basis of your detachment? That will determine the power of that detachment.
Oh, I see.
Yes.
I see. Makes sense. Mm,
You see.
see. So, looking for God and trying to know God, how does the desire of a man play? Which role does it play?
Can I get a context so that I'll know?
So, um, if my desire for God is higher than someone else's desire for God, do our desires in a way contribute to our understanding of God?
So that's why the pursuit of God is a response. So the response would see how you are reciprocating what is touching you. So some people, when they get a little tinkling of the love, they respond with a lot of gratefulness. That's the 10, the fruits. Some was
Oh,
10, some was, these are measures of love.
all right.
Yes. So there are some people, they are pissed. We have all experienced the same reality, but some are responding differently because of how they are reciprocating that love.
I see.
Yes.
Wow.
They are reciprocating that love.
Well, thank you for today. Very awesome questions, very cool questions, very enlightening conversation we had here.
Mm.
Hopefully, we'll have another one.
Of course, we will always have
Yeah.
another one.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.